Melody Calco, 73rd Avenue. I have a couple things to say. First, I want to commend the Board of Finance for no longer using the fund balance to fund everyday expenses in the budget. That's part of what got us into this problem. The last 2 years, if you total up the money, you would see that there was a mill. There's a mill that we have to pay for now because of the past 2 years of the fund balance being used in this budget. And that's a large part of the problem. Having said that, and it also kept taxes artificially low. Having said that, I would like to now talk about the general and the town budget. You did say that you tried to treat them equally. Well, I don't understand how that's equal when the town is getting a raise of 6.3, an increase of 6.3 in spending, and the Board of Ed gets 3.3. That's not equal to me. 3.3 for the both of them would have been equal. I know that the town, as well as the Board of Ed, has contractual obligations, and those are usually union obligations which are covering the salaries and the raises. Well, if the Board of Ed has been told they have to keep with a certain amount of money, and if it comes to laying off teachers, that's what they have to do, why does the town get away with not having to be faced with the same sort of hard decisions? I looked through this budget, and I found a lot of things that disturbed me. I think that, first of all, the capital improvements being cut out, I really have a problem with that, especially after hearing Mr. Roy talk about some of the things that sound really critical. And those are the kinds of things like a new boiler or a cracked boiler, which actually the fund balance should be used for. And maybe you could, if there really are urgent things that need to be fixed, maybe you could see maybe dipping into $50,000 of the fund balance to do one-time repairs on items so that the town doesn't fall apart. Because once you start getting problems with your infrastructure, like your furnaces, and of course the roof I think has been leaking a long time, you can run into really big problems which cost you a lot more money. So while I wouldn't recommend funding all the capital improvements, you maybe should look at a couple of them and using a slight amount from the fund balance, but I would not recommend using the fund balance on any day-to-day expenses. The other thing that I kind of felt sort of strongly about was the police cars. I'm not a big supporter of spending a lot of money on the police department. I think in a lot of cases they spend too much. But I was on the Board of Finance for many years, and the police cars was one thing that we put in the budget. 3 cars one year, 2 cars another year, so taxes wouldn't increase once those were in the budget. Now once those get taken out of the budget, then you've got to fill them next year. And next year, all those capital expenditures are going to be needed and funded, and that's going to cause another mill increase. I do have a suggestion which can't unfortunately be taken right away, and Paul, this is more for you than the Board of Finance because you're the first selectman and their powers are limited. And that's when the contracts are negotiated, and I know you haven't been in a position to negotiate any contracts yet. I think the health plan, it's going up, what was it, 13.9% this year, I believe is what you said. I'm sure that's close enough. That is probably the same health plan that's been in the town for years. I know that the town, when I was on the Board of Finance, we always considered that health plan to be a Rolls-Royce health plan. I've never seen another health plan that could come near it in terms of benefits. I know that the Board of Education and the school system has gotten different kinds of care in their health benefits for the teachers that are at a lower cost, and I think that the town should really look into that and include it in the next contract negotiation. See if you can get a less expensive health plan. I know you're contractually obligated to keep the current health plan, but I think it should be looked at to get something a little less expensive.
You have another 20 seconds.
Okay. The only other thing was the longevity. And that the state is looking into getting rid of, and I think the town should be looking into getting rid of longevity. We're spending over $82,000 this year on longevity payments to keep people in their jobs. This is not an economy where people really need to be paid to stay in their jobs. If somebody leaves, I guarantee you, in any position, whether it's the police department, town hall, wherever, even the school system, they don't get longevity. I don't think. Do they? No. Yeah, they do. Okay.
Can you try to wrap it up?
Okay. I just think the longevity should definitely be taken out of the contracts, because there'll be 20 more people, 20, probably 200 for any job opening. People don't need to be paid to stay in their jobs. If they don't want their jobs, there's plenty of people out of work that are qualified looking to fill them. So those are just some of my suggestions.
Thank you very much.